Last planner in construction, norm level takt planning, production plan. In this video, I'm so excited because the two previous, I talked about your master schedule and pull planning with some amazing references. And now we're gonna talk about your production plan. And I can't wait, so I'm just gonna get over here and jam out. I want you to know I love you. And I love the last planner system so much that I love teaching Part 2, meaning Last Planner 2.0. That's not an official title, and these are all my opinions. But this is how I have, as a builder and a superintendent and a field practitioner, implemented the Last Planner with great success. When you do this, you will have a master schedule, and I'll just draw these as summary bars, and then you'll take a single phase and you will do a pull plan to a milestone, and that pull plan is a collaborative sequence with the trades that then allows you to create, and this is just for one phase, create a norm level production plan and to gain buffer time before the milestone. And you're gonna need that buffer time if you wanna operate it effectively. Then from there, you're able to filter out your 6-week make ready look ahead plan and your weekly work plan. So that's your 1 week. Then from there, you do your day plan and you can track your percent plan complete. So we're all good to go. We are right here in this video. We're going to talk about your production plan, and it is not your master schedule. It is not the same thing. Your master schedule is your contractual promise and technically, or should be, your slowest reasonable speed, and your production plan is your production target. And that's why I have got a big beef with CPM and critical path schedules, CPSs, because they do a forward and a backward pass. They increase work in progress above the capacity of people and resources. And what it will do is it will not allow you to have float or buffers in the overall sequence. And that's actually how it's implemented and per definition. We're not talking about longest path here, we're talking about the critical path. So I want to make the point that when you had a phase up here, and I'm going to go like pivot completely into the Takt production system now. When you have a phase in your macro, ideally your milestone is set because in a time by location format, let's just say you had a few zones here. These were all individual activities or wagons. You now have a beautiful parallelogram, and this was built off of trade flow. And you have a sequence, a line of balance that can all be verified mathematically. So you have this as a base structure, and 3 months before that, you did a pull plan. 3 weeks before that, you did your pre-construction or your preparatory meeting, and you're able to do look-ahead planning 6 weeks out and a week out for your weekly work plan. This is the base framework for construction scheduling, but this is your strategic plan. I hope this is landing, okay? This is your strategic plan. What you do when you pull plan, you grab that milestone, like we said in the last video. I like to go ahead and confirm the sequence forward and then back, but we only do it for one zone. So that's the thing that's not typically taught in the industry. Typically the industry will say, here's a big old floor, here's a big old building, large batched areas. The worst things we do in construction is large batch and pushing. Those are counterproductive. They will not work. Even if they wanted to, they don't work. Even if you could justify spending the money, they don't work. So they hurt people, they spend money, and they don't work. So it's not great. What we need to do is make sure that with the trades, we're pulling to or from, however you want to say it. I've never confirmed how to say that right, but I know how to do it. We've got to do it to just one zone. And what happens is, in that pull plan, is what we're able to do is then compare from zone to zone to zone. This is such a good video. I hope you love it. Please like. You can confirm that your trades have diagonal flow from zone to zone to zone. Let me say this. This diagonal trade flow line is more important than the flow within the zone. It is more important. In fact, there are cases where you will get done with your milestone faster if there are gaps here. But if you have gaps here in the diagonal, it's not going to work. I've never seen gaps in the diagonal work. So trade flow is key. Now, by the time you have that, and you've done your pull plan, and let's just assume that this was taken out to all of the different zones, that then turns into what's called a norm level production plan. And what I mean by that is, in a time by location, with the number of zones that you've optimized to. Let's say that you have more zones. You typically will have more zones here than you did originally here. And you will have gained buffers because you optimized in the pull plan. This is now your norm level production plan. This is the production plan that you are using inside the last planner system with the trades. This is your base. This is what the superintendent and the PM are in there updating with the trades. This is what you're looking at. This is the base. This is your target. This will be faster than your contractual promise master schedule phase. So here's what I want to talk about. This becomes the base of everything that you do in the last planner system. And I want to make this clear. A lot of lean practitioners, and I love them, here's the heart, they'll say, go create a look ahead plan from scratch. Go ahead to the trades, go ahead and create a weekly work plan from scratch. No, 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 no. That is wasting time. That is over processing. You have already coordinated with the trades, with production rates hopefully, and done a reference class forecast and gained buffers and done a zone analysis with your trades at the pull plant. So this is now a coordinated, collaborated schedule. So you don't have to create anything from whole cloth anymore, okay? So I'm gonna draw this in red. When we need a 6-week look ahead plan, we filter it from this plan and adjust as needed. When we need a weekly work plan, we filter it from this plan and adjust as needed, because the trades get to commit. The trades get to own these, but the trades also get to hit the milestone. Now, why would I say it must come from here instead of some arbitrary location, some random new whole cloth type deal? Because if you tell trades to go create your look ahead and your weekly work plan out of nowhere, it will not be vertically aligned to milestones, and it will not have this trade flow. That's why it must be filtered down. This is a solid gold rule. A look ahead and a weekly work plan are filters. They are not created brand new. Do we shove this down the trade's throat even though they promised here? No, we can adjust. That's where tact, steering, and control comes in, but you don't have to recreate the wheel all the time. I prefer to have this 4 to 6 weeks out. I like 6 and 1 week out, and this becomes the base. Now, a couple things that I want to really encourage. This is where you're tracking the use of buffers at the end. This is where you're tracking your completion to the milestone. And this is where you're looking at this entire thing as a system. Oh, this is good. You will hit delays and problems. This is the view where you say, okay, how does that impact the end? Do we need to aid into buffers? This is how it impacts. And there are 12, we'll link this to you in the description below. There are 12 ways to recover in the Takt production system when this happens, because it will. And when that happens, you're able to do it in a production mindset way. How many does CPM have? None. It says crash activities, and that will always extend your schedule because it's only based on adding resources and throwing money at the problem. So now you have a production plan that will now lead you into your 6-week look ahead, your weekly work plan, and will become your production base. And it is faster than your original master schedule or your macro level Takt plan. And this will now set you up to do the 6-week look ahead plan and the weekly work plan and implement the rest of the last planner system. We will give you these references, and if you want more detail, the book is called Takt, Steering, and Control. Going from here to here is also mentioned in our book, Pull Planning for Builders. If you want to know why CPM is so problematic, that's called the 10 myths of CPM. And if you ever need help, reach out to us in the comments. But we have to get to, for construction, a production plan with buffers. And if you don't have buffers, you do not have a plan that will win. It will be past, you will delay beyond your schedule. Now, I want to say just one last thing, and I've talked about it before. I've shown you so many times, I'll just tell you. When you go from here to here and you optimize and gain buffers, we do not reduce the trade partner's time. Through zoning and the Takt Little's Law formula, you can shorten your throughput time simply by having the right zone sizes. And so this will set you up. I hope that you love this. We'll have a blog post in the description below in addition to everything else. And I'll see you on the next video. On we go.